He just got the boat back from a major service. Both pods have been rebuilt. He hired a captain, and unfortunately the captain got off course and hit the reef, damaged both pods. Props are destroyed, shafts are bent.
All right, so I'm back here at this boat, checking the battery charger, batteries, and inverter. The boat is already open. The other side door is open, so this one's closed, but yeah, I don't know what's going on here, so call the customer and see. All right, so I got this boat with this battery problem, and I don't know if you can see it all, but there's water all through here from the door being open all night, I guess. So I'll try to do what I can to help with that, but shoot, this is going to be a little more than I thought. All right, so we'll get what we can get. Okay, all right, we got the battery charger opened up here now. It's underneath this table, so that's a lot of fun to get in. But as I go down here and look, I can see there's the dip switches there. 1, 2, 3 is set different than the rest. So, and then underneath, I'm not sure if I can get this. See if I can get some light in here. There we go. Let's see what's hooked up on the bottom. I'm trying to see that jumper on the back because that has to be set a certain way. Just having all kinds of technological problems here, but we've got lithium phosphate battery, RB100s, 12.8 volts, 100 amp hours. They're made, I guess, by Reliant. Let's see on the rest of them. Let's see what it says. I'll just take pictures with the cell phone. I think it's easier. Dip switch 1 and 2 and 3 are on. So that means for a master bus network, that's this unit. Dip switch 1 must be on. Dip switch 2 is the master bus powering on or off. By default, it's set to off, but this is set to on now. Dip switch 3 to 5 are used for the battery type. Dip switch 3 on means it's an MLI fixed and it's constant. No, I'm sorry, not constant voltage, because 4 and 5 are off. 6, 7, and 8 are off. That means inverter frequency is 50 hertz. That's not right. AC input support mode is off. AC voltage input window is wide. Energy saving mode is off. So according to this, though, you can change the settings by the dip switches or from a laptop connected to the Combi Master inverter charger via a USB interface. Some settings, like the AC in limit, can only be changed through that way. Okay? Invalid settings can cause serious damage to the batteries or load. So I'm not sure about the 50 hertz for the inverter because I'm not sure what the equipment is. So we've got to do a little more research, I think. All right. So we got everything figured out here, I think. We got all the information they wanted for the, but I just want to take a little extra here to show. This is the bottom of the place that the batteries are at and the charger, but this is on the floor. And I'm not sure how much underneath of it, but if this gets wet, I mean, yeah, even if it's put up here on the sides, it still could get wet. But this here is kind of weird. I wouldn't have done it this way, but that's just how it is. And as you can see, there's not much room in here for anything else. Extra battery, I don't think that's going to work unless they build a tray and put them on top. But then you got heat problems possibly. I don't know. But this I'm not really satisfied with. And there's no dielectric grease on anything. All right, that's it for today. Cover this up, get it put back together, and move on to the next job. All right, boat's all closed back up. Far door is closed. Near door is closed. Everything's closed up.
Here we are with Peter. Peter, what you got going on today?
We are replacing a not working autopilot pump, and we are relocating it because it used to be way down there behind the generator. You can't get to it without crawling and being tiny. So now we're relocating it over here where we have a straight shot for any future service. Also, it was a retrofit because it was a Ray Marine pump with a Garmin system. So it was the retrofit, and now the pump quit. So we're putting the correct Garmin pump that goes with the rest of the Autopilot. We just gotta make the hookups and do the programming.
We'll come into a little situation. The run line to the pump doesn't work. Isn't long enough, so we gotta figure something out.
We gotta move the ECU closer to the pump. So now we gotta extend the NEMA network, move the ECU down to the bilge area close to the pump, and run the NEMA network up top. And that should be it. The reason for that is steering bus that goes from the ECU down to the pump is not long enough, and it's not recommended to splice it and make it longer, and they do not make longer cables or any extension cables, so it's just a matter of relocating that and making it work. A little bit extra, but not rocket science. Here, if you want to grab that, just go ahead and unplug that.
Seems like a pain that they wouldn't have an extension cable.
Yeah, so sometimes they don't make extension cables just because of either resistance or any issues. Like they've tested all this, so they've determined that that is the maximum length and should not go over that.
Okay.
They've engineered this quite a bit. Same with transducer cables. Even though people do it, it is never recommended to cut and splice transducer cables. First off, it voids a warranty. And second off, if there is any issues, then you won't get proper function.
Okay.
And then if that's the case, then they won't warranty it. It's always good to just touch base with manufacturers and make sure you're not doing the wrong thing.
Right.
All right, so we had to do a little reconfiguration. We had to mount the ECU down here from the flybridge because the wire that goes from the ECU to the pump cannot be extended. So we just had to make that work with length. That's the new pump. It has the rudder feedback. It has the ECU connection and the power. And then the ECU goes up to the flybridge, the NEMA 2000, and up to the flybridge for the buzzer alarm. Other than that, the wiring is all done. The pump is all mounted. Now we have to do the hydraulic, which the old pump was mounted way back there. So we got to splice into the hydraulic from back there to make it all the way up here.
Let's run into Buddy's real quick and see our next victim.
This poor boat apparently hit a ledge here in Key West, and he hired a diver. He talked to Mel and AJ when they were on a job downtown, and then Mel told him, get a diver, have him go down. I guess apparently he crinkled both of his props. Might have further damage. Let's go see what we might be able to see.
Holy,
It's crazy.
look at this.
Oh yeah, that's ledge damage.
Wow. It hit so hard, it jammed the pod back up into the hull right here.
Yeah.
This actually impacted all the way back up there. We got to drop this whole thing out. I'm going to take a video and send it to Hugh. That is damaged right there. I can't see any damage on the shafts, but who knows? I didn't bring anything to measure anything. And then you can see where it actually pushed so hard that it drove the housing up into the hull right here. Let's see about this side.
The other side has scrapes on the bottom, I see from here.
Yeah, this side doesn't look as bad. Oh yeah, he hit it. He hit it here too, really hard. Took all that metal off. So we'll have to see. My first thought process is we're gonna have to drop both of these. Yeah, they didn't put it on when the epoxy coat was still tacky. These are the zip wake trim tabs. They're just little plastic things that come out right here and trim the boat. All right, I don't see any other damage, so that's a good thing. All right, this is gonna be a fun one. So we've got two pods, one here and one over there, and we gotta drop both of them. There's a generator, turn that off. We don't need that on, and it's a little tight in here. And I'm telling you what, working on these engines underneath this thing is not going to be a lot of fun. All right, so these are all off. That one's off. My circuit breaker's up here. I turned everything off that we don't need. We are going to get power put on this boat so the battery chargers will work. We're going to get over here and do some oil samples, hopefully later today. Then we will get started on good time removals. Again, we'll be using our special tool we made. It mounts on this hoist point right here and mounts in that big bolt hole right back there. And it hangs over the top, and we can hook it up to this and take the bolts out and drop it straight down. And that's also how we're going to bring it back up. Well, like I said, man, it's going to be tight. And believe it or not, there is no access over here to get to that drive. So all the access is right here. Whew, boy, that's going to be fun. Anyways.
Some serious damage here. See this?
Yep.
Missing.
Yeah. Unfortunate. The guy just got the boat back, so you can see right here too.
This side didn't hit the bottom as much, but he still has quite a bit of damage on his props. Oh, wow, look at that one. You see this right here?
We're going to need new props. That unit there, upper and lower, will be replaced because it's full of metal and oil. We found that when we took the oil sample. Still sent the oil sample in just because of insurance and documentation. This one, the oil still looks good, and there wasn't metal on the drain plug. So I'm hopeful that we may be able to keep the upper gear, which is inside the boat, and just replace this lower. We will see when we get the oil sample back for that, if that's the determination.
Looks like oil or something's leaking.
Yeah, it's from when they drained it. Yeah, it's leaking oil out of the shaft seals, so the shaft is shot. Could have been a lot worse, but could have not happened at all, too. That would have been nice.
Did you see if there was damage on the hull over here? You see anything from where this backside hit up on the top?
Well, yeah, right here. It hit so hard that it pushed this lower up into the hull, so we'll have to get this off, and we'll clean that off and do a tap test. And I don't think the hull's damaged, but we'll get it cleaned up and sealed up if we have to.
All right, we're down here in a spacious engine room. So what we got going on here, you guys probably seen it before if you watch the channel a lot. We got some pod changes again. So far what we've done, we've gotten the exhausts off both sides. Oil cooler, you see it over there, both sides. Take that off. We've disconnected the coupling in the front right there. And we've taken all of the ring bolts except for 4. So now we've got the hoist on, all rigged up on the port side. So we're going to drop this port side IPS out. Got to take it and see what they're going to do with it. I believe we'll get a new remanufactured unit, put it back in. So I'm going to climb down in here and get a hooking. All right, so we got her out. That didn't take long at all. But we'd already done taking the exhaust off and all of the other parts yesterday, so it was just 4 bolts and dropping it down. So
The remanufactured one?
Yeah, this one was. I know this might not seem like much, but I'm pretty excited right now. And today is the day. They're finally getting picked up. So let's get these things loaded up. Oh, sorry.
One of our favorite FedEx guys.
Yeah, our favorite R&L guy.
Oh yeah, not FedEx, yeah, R&L,
not FedEx.
yeah. This guy, he's been delivering to us for years, but he's so nice. Just in time for you to get some new ones.
Yeah, just in time.
Because we've got to get one coming for this one right here that the guys just dropped on Friday. This one is the one that was on that boat that ran aground. Yeah, he says he's gonna work on his arm, and tomorrow he goes to see if he's gonna need surgery. And you figure it's been December, January, February, March, April, 5 months, and surgery can still be a possibility, which is amazing because to have to get surgery after he's come this far already. So our shop is definitely getting a little less cluttered, which is great, getting rid of some of these things. This is going to be our next big project. We still need to go and get these installed on that boat that is up in Marathon. Those are the 3 chillers we got several months ago. We haven't been able to do that job because of Matt getting hurt, of course, but it's going to be in the schedule here pretty soon.
Okay. Well, we got rid of those, but I got more. Just the whole thing was full of salt water and oil mixed together, emulsified. And once that gets up in here into the upper gear, you know what that is?
Yeah.
That's all gel coat. Yep, from where the thing came up in the back. Yeah, so that gets all that fluid gets all emulsified in here, and you have to totally strip this thing down into every single little tiny bit and piece. You got to replace a bunch of the wear components, then put it back together and hope that it works. In my experience, I think it's cheaper just to get a reman from Volvo than it is for me to put that on a bench and start taking it apart.
Well, especially because you get that 2-year warranty.
Mm-hmm, yep.
And you're crazy not to get an oil sample every time you do an oil change.
Yes. Wow, we're starting to have some breathing room in here, though. Might be some organization and spring cleaning coming up.
Whoa, let's do that.
Yep. So I was thinking about getting rid of that old golf cart out there. Still works. Needs new seats. But what we're thinking is if we get rid of the Murano, we could start running around town in that. So what I'm thinking about doing is years ago I put 4 Group 31 AGMs in there, but I have this big old lithium ion battery here. I forget how much it's big, real big, but it'll fit in there. And I haven't found a home for it. I think it's 1230 amp hours. That's humongous. So I think I might take it out and put it in there. I hate to do that because that battery is probably worth several $1,000s. But I got it. Might as well use it, right?
If you had to buy new batteries for the golf cart, it would be a couple $1000s.
Probably, yeah.
So,
yep. So
why not?
But man, I'm excited. We got rid of a bunch of crap today and we're cleaning up and we're going to get this place organized. So,
uh-oh, we're getting organized.
uh-oh. Well, I mean, we're kind of organized, but we're going to clean up and get rid of some stuff and maybe be even more organized. Friday is my big appointment with the orthopedic surgeon. They're going to do x-rays to see what's going on with this, but I have a feeling that they're going to tell me I'm all good. I'm still pretty sore up there. Some days, like today, I'm kind of sore because I worked out yesterday. I get moving and I use my little, we call it sizzle, the little thing with the pads on it that puts electric in there. It loosens it up quite a bit, and then throughout the day as I exercise, it loosens up some more. All right, well, you'll figure it out. Let me see that once. It's, I don't think the same. Is it the same?
The same.
Oh yeah, TH Marine. Yeah. Well, Peter will be working on this all day. Now let's go over here to for the damage. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, good news. You know what you don't see here anywhere? The 74, the marquee.
Oh, it's gone.
It's gone. Yay. We got that in the water the other day. Here's what I'm looking at here. So when they hit, there was some damage. It's supposed to be the drain hole, but there's stuff in there. There's a screw in there, believe it or not. I don't know what else is in here. Yeah, there's a little screw, and there's gel coat in there, and I don't even know if water could drain if it wanted to. Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to clean that out, because that's what drains the seals here. So I'm looking, and I'm seeing some damage on here. Well, sounds pretty solid. Well, it sounds all right. So this just looks like the gel coat got chipped away. We'll scrape that off, and we'll put some Marine Tex back on there to seal that up. So we're kind of a standstill on this, waiting on the insurance company, but we got plenty of other work.
If we need to get to the inside of that, this fridge out.
Hold on. Here's what I'm thinking. First thing we need to do is either vac or blow and see if this vent is clear.
Okay.
That's what I would do. Don't take anything apart until we get that done.
Okay.
Might have to take like a piece of rubber hose and put it in there and tape it off or something.
Okay.
Trophy boat. Don't know why it's here. Don't know the story, but it's already got it's got full of water and trash, and who knows how it's floated up here. Free boat. Come get it. You know, runs, everything. And then you come to find out there's no paperwork on it.